You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Hello, it's the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. You can go suck on an egg because we're here to talk to your face about wrestling, allegedly. There's lots of stuff going on. You're going to hear this show after our Royal Rumble show, but we're recording it beforehand. So there's a lot of hootenanny and whatsy doodles and fling flanging and flim flamming that will be abound in here. So if you hear us reference the Royal Rumble coming up, that's probably because this show is going to come out after the Royal Rumble, but we're recording it before the Royal Rumble. You don't need to know how the sausage is made. You just need to know it's delicious, so sit back and enjoy it. That's what you need to know. Don't go any further than that. Don't look any far into it. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's just going to disappoint you if you know what's going on back there. So just have an open mind, and it'll be great. Tiger Bomb Tom is here. Poot the Bard is here. Beef the Legend is here. Ransom the Madman is here. Because you're going to listen to this after the Royal Rumble, I have no idea who the Cruiserweight champion is going to be. Probably not me, so you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, we'll talk more about that. We're not going to probably go over a whole, well, maybe we will. I have no idea what we're going to do. The next show, previous show, is going to be picks for the Royal Rumble. I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea. I know Poot probably has the most of a boner that he could possibly get because this week on AEW, Danhausen debuted on AEW.
And it was a very good, very evil one. Oh, it was so good. Yes,
we'll get more terrible gimmick infringements by Poot. Don't you worry, though. There'll be plenty more in the future. He just kind of showed up. Is he cleared to wrestle? I know he was injured. I don't know. Has anybody heard? Is he healed up? Is he ready to go? Or is he just going to be making some TV appearances until he is in ring ready?
Well, and that's the thing. For those who didn't know, a couple months ago, I think it was like maybe a month and a half or so ago, 2 months ago, I think, Danhausen was in a tag match with actually someone that we saw perform live here in Clearfield with the Neon Ninja.
Facade, yeah.
Yeah, Facade. And
Facade was also just injured too recently, I think.
Well, and I didn't see the footage, but judging by how things happened, it said that one of Facade or one of Danhausen's opponents landed on his leg wrong and basically snapped his tibia and fibula. Yeah, and now it didn't go full Sid Justice or anything, but like
Halloween night.
Yeah,
Halloween night when Danhausen was in.
Yeah, so it was about 2 months ago, and Danhausen had to have surgery and everything, and he was off the shelf, and it's a shame because like whenever that happened, I went, man, he was really catching a lot of steam on the indies and on a lot of other places, but he made it work. He's still like on his YouTube channel and on social media and everything. He stayed relevant, and people, and if you watch the debut, very low impact. Very low impact, very like there was no physicality between him and Adam Cole. He came out and he cursed Adam Cole as is tradition with Danhausen. And then Danhausen just meandered away. And the best part about that character is that it could be cursing Adam Cole, cursing Adam Cole, cursing Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole gets blindsided by Orange Cassidy. And then you watch the footage and Danhausen just kind of saunters away. And it works for that character. You know what I mean? The question is, where's Danhausen going to fit in AEW? Like, and this is not me just like fanboying out because like the speculation of him joining AEW has been a long time coming because he's really good friends with Evil Uno. He's really good friends with like a whole mess of people from
Lance Archer.
From Lance Archer, the murder bird, as Danhausen calls him.
I love it.
It's so funny because in the times they interact on camera, Lance Archer only says murder bird. and it's really funny. Like it, and he's good friends with like Ethan Page and everything. Like you name someone in AEW, Danhausen's probably friends with him. So
Right.
it was kind of one of those things that's just, when is it going to happen versus is it going to happen? The thing is, though, Danhausen is he's a comedy character, but he can go in the ring. So it has that kind of Orange Cassidy vibe, just set as if the Munsters were, playing a wrestler. The question is, where is Danhausen going to land? Because he debuts here and, kind of gets in Adam Cole's face. Is he going to land with the Best Friends? Is he going to be part of the Dark Order? Is he just going to do his own thing? Like, what do you guys think? Like, first of all, how do you guys feel about Danhausen joining AEW, being the strong comedy character that has that cult following, kind of like Orange Cassidy did? Do you think they can transition him into someone serious like they've done with Orange Cassidy? Or do you think that, like, this is something that's going to, in the long run, kind of fall flat?
I tell you what, motherfuckers, AEW goes out there and gets another joke wrestler. Oh my god, these motherfuckers! No, I am here for Danhausen. I think that he has a place in the sport for sure. I liked your allusion to Orange Cassidy. I think that's a very good corollary to make. And if you look at the track that Orange Cassidy has had, he's had some big time wins over Chris Jericho. Has faltered in title matches, but looked good nonetheless. He's the most successful wrestler in 2021, or I think the second most behind Junk Boy, if I'm not mistaken. But most of those victories come on Dark Elevation. So, but in the same breath, he just handed Adam Cole his first singles loss in AEW. So,
I was going to ask how Beach Break went because I didn't get to watch it yet. I'm working on getting the TNT app and hopefully being able to at least catch the replay of it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't watch it either. I did see the Cody the Cody Sammy match, which was outstanding. Ladder matches are really good all the time. Pretty much that's a guarantee. If it's a ladder match, it's probably going to be good.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm here for Danhausen. As far as where he fits in, I think he's just going to be doing Danhausen things. A promo here, a promo there, some shifty wins along the way, and I think that he could be a major player in, if nothing else, the TNT title hunt, which they've made a point of saying that it's certainly not a down step. It's a lateral move on AEW's front anyway. So
yeah,
that's my 2 cents.
I agree with you in the sense of I don't think he'll have a problem fitting in. I'm definitely excited for him to be there. Part of it there. Yeah, you do that would be the biggest concern. That's not only for Danhausen but for anybody coming in, because you have so many great wrestlers and so many great personalities in AEW. We talked about it before. We're glad that they have the second show in Rampage, because they're getting a pretty damn full roster. And yeah, you have Dark and Dark Elevation, but having two actual
prime
shows,
time kind of shows.
Yeah, having 2 primetime shows is good, even if one of them is 2 hours and the only one and the other one is only an hour. I think that's good. I think it doesn't oversaturate things. Then what? Dark and Dark Elevation are both an hour, right?
I think they like to call Rampage like the most action-packed hour in sports, and I would most nights agree with that. They put on a great fucking show most Rampages, so
right.
for sure.
Right, but Dark and Dark Elevation are only an hour each, correct? So,
I know that answer. Maybe.
Okay. We're gonna assume that they are. I'm pretty sure that is. So that's 2 and 2 is 4, and 5 hours a week of wrestling. Where a lot of times, with WWE, you have 3 hours of Raw, you got 2 hours of SmackDown, that's already 5, and then another 2 of NXT. So they're doing a little under a little under hour-wise what WWE is doing, and somehow, and it's not, obviously creative is a big problem of it because WWE is stale with that, but I think it's important to not oversaturate the product. So I'm glad to see them have everything spread out the way they do. So I don't think Danhausen's going to have too hard of a time finding a spot to fit in. I would love to see him do stuff with the Dark Order at some point because it just seems like it would be a good fit. And I'm excited to see where it goes because, like Orange Cassidy, him being the comedy wrestler and stuff like that. With Orange Cassidy, we got that. We got the comedy shtick, we got the hands in the pockets, but when it came down to it, we saw times where Orange Cassidy just would fucking go in the ring, and he didn't need to rely so heavily on the whole laid back Cassidy fucking shtick. It kind of in a way, this is no way comparing the two, it's apples to oranges, but if you look at it, like take somebody like The Undertaker who had such a long career, somebody like Cassidy or a Danhausen could also have that same sort of longevity where they can go back to some of those shticks, like where it's similar but it doesn't feel too played out. Like they can always kind of fall back on it a little bit, but I like the fact that we've gotten to see the more serious side of Orange Cassidy, and eventually, maybe we'll see that out of Danhausen too. What do you think, Ransom?
I don't think you'll have a problem fitting in. AEW is an eclectic roster, so it makes sense that he would show up there. It's best that he went there. I think their Impact would be best for him. WWE, they wouldn't understand him. They would misuse him. So a good choice was made by him. I don't know that he needs to join a stable. I think he can fly solo. I don't think it's a necessity for him to join a stable or align himself with a certain group. I mean, I don't care if he does. I think that would be fine. There wouldn't be any objections from me on that, but I don't know that it's a necessity for him to do so. While the comedy wrestlers are fun, I always enjoy seeing them. I always deep down have a little bit of a worry because, and this is just solely based, and again, this is unfortunately solely based on what we've seen in WWE. Because there have been so few AEW title changes, which I'm happy about. There's no complaints here on that front. So it's hard to base this comment in AEW. But from seeing comedy wrestlers in the past, it seems like the highest they achieve is that mid-card belt. And I understand that AEW says, well, no, the TNT title's on par with the AEW title. I don't think I'll ever see it that way, simply because at that point you have two main titles. That's like having a WWE title and a Universal title.
You're conditioned to it.
There is no mid-card title if those two belts are on the same level. So that's my own faulting. I have to kind of get used to that and kind of, like Poot said, I have to condition myself to see them as on the same level. I haven't conditioned myself to that yet.
Well, and let's be real here. For many years, the Intercontinental and the United States titles were like the titles in WWE because the WWE title proper and the Universal title were always held up by Cena or Reigns or Lesnar. So, like, if we wanted actual joy and athletic competition and, like, enjoyment, we had to go to the mid-card where guys like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, to name a few, were doing work.
Well, even...
And that's the same, too, with, back in the WWE and World Heavyweight Championship days.
Right.
Those belts were dominated by a handful of guys collectively. and the United States title and the Intercontinental title, that's where you saw exciting feuds, exciting matches. You didn't know, like,
Yep.
damn, this guy could win this title. You have no idea. But anytime you saw anybody go up against Triple H at something other than a WrestleMania, you just assumed, well, it might be a great match, but the foregone conclusion is Triple H is going to walk away with this belt regardless.
He's going to bust out that golden shovel.
Yep.
Yeah. To go back to my comment though, the comedy wrestlers scare me a bit because I don't necessarily know if they are AEW title worthy or AEW title picturesque. Now, like I said before, the AEW title has been passed around so few a times, which again, good thing. I don't know yet if they're going to say, okay, comedy wrestler like Orange Cassidy, yeah, he's big belt worthy. Comedy wrestler like Danhausen, yeah, he's big belt worthy. Like I think back to like a Santino Marella. No, they're never going to put the big belt on him. Strictly comedy wrestler is never going to happen.
So
Hopefully
now go ahead, Ransom. I was going to say let Ransom finish his thought.
Okay.
Hopefully in AEW, they can see that you don't have to be one of those like serious badass ass kicker, gonna come out, gonna wreck your face, you take me seriously type of people. Like hopefully they can look at it and go, guy's good on the mic, guy's good on the ring, people get behind him, there are a multitude of fans surrounding this guy. He's worthy of the belt because A, he's going to entertain the fans, B, he's going to make us money, and C, he's reliable and dependable. Regardless of whether or not he's that serious ass kicker or he's that, comedy guy who paints his face up and has that goofy voice, if he can do all the things that a champion can do, hopefully AEW has the foresight to say, we don't need to turn Danhausen from comedy into serious in order to get that big belt on him.
Well, and Beef, Beef, really quick, just to put his mind at ease about Danhausen, I'll be really quick, I promise.
Good.
Okay? As far as Danhausen goes, the nice thing with him is that early on when he was doing the face paint and everything like that, it was more serious, and then he kind of got into this, like I said, that Munsters 50s kind of, horror thing. But here's the cool thing about Danhausen. Is that, yes, he is a comedy wrestler, but the way he does stuff, yeah, it's funny, but when he says very nice, very evil, it is that, like, underlying tone of, like, this guy might kill me. Like, it has that, like, this guy's off. Something's off about him. So that kind of underlying tone of, like, sinister thing is always there, even with packaged in the goofiness. It's kind of that anti-hero Deadpool thing. So the neat thing that I could see doing, immediately I thought to myself, it's like you could put Danhausen with the Dark Order, he could keep that comedy thing, and it's ha 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 ha. You could have Danhausen on his own, he can do his thing, ha 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 ha. Now, down the road, if you put Danhausen with the House of Black, you then can take that character and make him more like the Joker. You can take that character and you can make him, yeah, it's this funny, goofy stuff, but it's backed with sinister, mean, like, it's like, yeah, he's small, yeah, he's quick, he carries a jar of teeth to the ring, but it's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. So he has a lot of latitude. That was my point.
Well, and going back to the whole, like, what will AEW do with comedy wrestlers, I think we've already seen a commitment to them saying, hey, we're willing to give whoever a chance whenever if they're getting over. I think, Double or Nothing last year or the year before, I'm not 100%. I think it was last year because Orange Cassidy was in the main event with Kenny Omega and I think Pac. And the crowd was behind him. He damn near won a couple times, and I think there were a couple times that we all thought, oh man, Orange Cassidy's going to get the belt here. This is great. And I mean, it would have been hell of a rub. Ultimately, Hangman was the one to take the rub from Kenny, and that's great. That's awesome. That's the way it should have been. But, like, there are moments of believability there. So I think AEW is committed to say, hey, if you're over, we're gonna push you, regardless of whether we think that you're a joke or whatever. Like if the fans like you, hell yeah, and that's how it should be. The fans should dictate, and I don't want to get too heavy-handed with this because but the fans should dictate who is the most popular and who should be the champions, not the company dictating who the champion should be to the fans. And I mean, you can't let the inmates run the asylum. You do have to have, one eye to the future, and I understand all of that. But man, like sometimes it's very hard to believe what WWE has had in the palm of their hands.
Yep.
That they've messed up. And I'm gonna bridge a little bit here because I'm gonna talk about some of the Royal Rumbles. As I want to do, I've been watching a lot of Royal Rumbles here the last couple of weeks. Is seeing guys like the 2014 Rumble obviously is the biggest, crime of the century.
I was at that one.
Where Daniel Bryan didn't even get a shot. He didn't even come out.
Which one was that again?
Next year he comes out. Huh?
Which one was that again?
Wait, you went robot-y. What did you say?
Which one was that again?
So 2014 was the one, the Batista one. Rey Mysterio came out 30th, and everybody was expecting Daniel Bryan. The fans booed Rey Mysterio, which was crazy. And then, like, from then on, they basically hijacked the end of the match, chanting for Daniel Bryan. And then chanting for Roman Reigns, of all people, to beat Batista. He didn't, and then they all turned on Batista, which Batista rolled with, and everything, as we know, turned out okay. But, there's that. And then most recently, well, not most recently, because, these mistakes are made every fucking month, it feels like. But 2019, or 2020, before the world ended, Shayna Baszler came out looking like a house on fire, fresh from, like, the longest NXT title run. The longest I think can say, I don't know. She was a big deal in NXT. She got to the main roster. This is her first appearance on the main roster. Looked like a house of fire. I believe she took the most eliminations in a Royal Rumble match, and she did it all within like 5 minutes, and then was, eliminated by Charlotte Flair, the eventual winner.
No.
So,
no.
So many times we see this talent squandered because WWE, because Vince McMahon doesn't see the value in somebody. I think Tony Khan sees dollar signs when he sees Danhausen, and Danhausen, excuse me, and I think that Danhausen sees dollar signs when he sees Tony Khan. So I think it's a marriage made in heaven, and I think that all parties involved, will be happy with the result.
Right.
I wholeheartedly agree. Like, I mean, having Danhausen where he is, like, it just makes sense. He's such a big personality no matter what he does. Whether, like I said, whether it's his YouTube channel, when he does interviews, like if you watch the Oral Sessions one with him, it's really good because he's in character. But then if you watch the one with Chris Van Vliet and he's out of character, and actually talking as himself, both sides of it are entertaining and interesting. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys that is, when he's in character, he's entertaining. When he's out of character, he's a wet, napkin. Like,
right.
He is just an entertaining guy. And I think that he will do wonders in AEW, even if he is just a foil for people. He's that random, that random like element, that agent of chaos, if you will, to continue the Joker thing.
Is that what we want from him, though? Do we want him to be the foil?
Well, that's kind of what he's always been. If you watch online, like the thing is, it's one of those things. It's the same thing with Orange Cassidy. People just like him. There are dissenters. There are people like the Jim Cornettes of the world. There are people who are just there's also the people who are just like, oh, this isn't my thing. You know what I mean? And they don't like him or hate him. They're just like, it's not my thing. However, generally, kids like Danhausen, adults like Danhausen, Like, he's just one of those characters that you go, all right, this guy's interesting. This guy's cool. This guy's funny. This guy's talented. Because if you watch when he works, it's the same idea as Orange Cassidy. You look at Orange Cassidy and you go, oh, okay. Oh, by the way, for Orange Cassidy, the canon for him is that he got, because there's a video of him in the Bronx or something carrying a fish and he's shit-faced. And he calls himself Orange Cassidy. And he was super drunk, like super drunk. The canon of that is that he's still hung over from that night.
Fantastic.
That's the canon of why Orange Cassidy is so lackadaisical. It's not that, and of course they put in, it's like, oh, he's lazy, he's this. No, he's still hung over. That's the canon. So, but with Danhausen, I love it. I think it's hilarious. But that's the thing is when you see Orange Cassidy actually work, he's really fucking good. And Danhausen is the same way. Yeah, he does goofy bullshit. But when he actually works and he works a match, he's really talented. And the cool thing is, because you see him in all these comedy things, when he does actually do work, it's that much more impactful.
So while we're in the AEW spirit of things, let me ask you this. I know that Royal Rumble is will have already happened, but obviously we're all excited for that. And it is, ladies and gentlemen, it is sign pointing season. Welcome to the most exciting season in sports entertainment. But you know, all that being aside, Revolution's coming up in early March, so that's awesome as well. But we're about 6 weeks out with no clear contender for the women's title with Britt Baker, and really none with Adam Page.
Yeah.
My question to you guys is, with 6 weeks left to Revolution and knowing that the entire world could flip between now and then, given all the free agents out there, who do you guys see vying for those major titles at Revolution?
As far as the men's title goes, I think Daniel Bryan. I think
Who?
Brian Danielson.
Man.
I did it. Called him by his slave name. I'm the worst. Brian Danielson. That was an excellent. Who? I think Brian Danielson would be a good one. I think that maybe if they really wanted to pull the trigger now, which I don't think they should, MJF. I think, I even think maybe, if you wanted to really get sideways with it, you could try and squeeze Punk in there. I don't think that would serve anyone super well at this moment. I think maybe Orange Cassidy, but you can't have a face go against a face and then keep him a face, at least in AEW, at least in my opinion. So I'm thinking, honestly, mine would probably be, I would say Bryan Danielson. I do.
Now, if that is the case, do you think Bryan goes over?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that they keep that belt on, not even just because they don't hot potato belts, as Ransom so eloquently put earlier, or that they don't, that belt hasn't changed hands a ton. I think that Danielson giving the rub again to Hangman Adam Page would do wonders for him. And plus, they should keep that belt on him for a while.
Yep.
So the only problem I see with that, Food, is that when Moxley returned last week, Bryan Danielson was waiting in the wings and kind of gave him like a little little clap and a little smile. So I think maybe they're feeling that out. Danielson just lost a Page earlier this month. So I don't think that they're going to pull the belt off of Hangman so soon. So I don't think it's going to be Danielson. MJF would be it, but I mean, I think that MJF and Punk ultimately get their feud resolved at Revolution. So
yeah.
as far as what I'm thinking, I think it'll either be maybe Kenny Omega. It may be a little bit too soon for him yet. If not Kenny Omega, because Archer has a shot here in a couple weeks. I don't see that going sideways. Like I think Page is gonna beat him pretty solid. Like
Right.
it's not gonna be like the Danielson feud because they're just not gonna do that over and over and over again where they do like a time limit draw and then another match. So I think he'll beat Archer and then on to the next. It would not shock me if it was either Adam Cole, because now that the Adam Cole Orange Cassidy feud is wrapped up, it wouldn't shock me if it was Adam Cole, or somebody that's not even on AEW's roster yet.
Interesting.
So that leads into this isn't what I think is going to happen. This is what I would be jumping out of my seat seeing happen. I would be completely down for, because Beef, correct me if I'm wrong, they haven't had like a surprise debut go directly into the title hunt, maybe aside from Jon Moxley when he first debuted at the very genesis of AEW. Is that right?
As far as I can remember, yes, sir.
So I would really love, since it's happening in, what'd you say, March?
Yes, early March.
Early March. I for one would love it if we had a debut on the Dynamite or the Rampage beforehand of Johnny wrestling.
Oh my
and
god.
he goes right in to facing Hangman for the title. Now, again, I think it's going to be a loss for him, and I'm fine with a debut match loss because A, it's against Hangman Page, and B, it's for the AEW title. So it's already a big marquee match. I don't think that's going to hurt him coming in and losing, or even if he came in as a heel and got disqualified, I'd be fine with. But AEW, I don't believe, has yet to pull hey, this guy just showed up just before the pay-per-view, or having it being like a TBD, and the night of the pay-per-view, Hangman Page goes to the ring, and that's when Johnny Wrestling makes his surprise debut in that match. I feel like it's time for AEW to have one of those surprise debuts, wham, immediately into the title picture. Adam Page should not lose that title yet.
No.
Again, AEW titles have longevity in them. And especially with him, I feel like there was a very big buildup for him. So he should hold it for a nice big old steaming cup of coffee. So that would be right there is when I would come out of my seat to see Johnny Wrestling show up and immediately go into a title match with Adam Page.
Yeah, fuck that gave me a 6 to midnight wrestling boner. How you doing? My only other thought for anybody that's still on the roster, I'm kind of with Beef on. They could probably put Omega back in there, but obviously still have Hangman go over. I'm just trying to think of what other heels that he could really go up against, because if the MJF and CM Punk feud doesn't get resolved until Revolution, then obviously, you don't want to try to throw MJF into there. You could maybe have Adam Cole do it. There's not a whole lot of heels, like true definitive heels that you could really put up against Hangman. Maybe you could have some dissension in the Dark Order, and maybe, somebody gets a little big for their britches or something like that. And, you get a Silver or whoever, try to step up to Hangman. There could be that. I don't know, but having a Johnny Gargano or somebody come in, that would be amazing. You could maybe have Moxley, but I don't think you pull the trigger on that case either and have Moxley be the first 2-time champ. Although that does beg the question, do you think here's a good off the cuff one for you. Do you think we will see a 2-time champion within the next year of AEW?
Yes.
You think?
Yes, Kenny Omega.
You think Kenny?
Yep.
Who do you think, Poot? Or if?
How about you, Ransom? Who do you think?
I don't necessarily know if we do, because I feel like that's a super big deal to have the first ever two-time champ, and I feel like they have a plethora of big top names that they could hand that belt over to and really make it like a big shebang. Because as it stands
The
right now,
whole shebang, if you will.
Whoa. As of right now, there have been very few AEW champions. So to have a two-time champion come in already, I feel like you're missing a major buildup. I feel like if you have at least over a handful of AEW champions, at that point, you could really kind of build it and say, okay, we've had these guys, like, look at all the champions we've had. Who could possibly be the first ever two-time champ? I'm not saying it would be a bad thing, though, if they did it, especially with Kenny this year. I just feel like they could have a nice big old build up for that and really make you want to see it and really being anticipating it and draw that desire out. And when it finally happens, then it's such a massive deal.
I love the Gargano idea. I just think that he's probably waiting out the birth of his child. So I don't know the timetable on that. I think it's got to be close.
Yeah.
So I mean that I don't think AEW will like operate on a like if schedule like that. I think when they bring him in, they want him to be like part of the show.
Yeah.
Big names that I could foresee happening, especially because I think that this Archer thing may be a one-off. So if Hangman has he has a defense against Archer here in 2 weeks, that would be February the 9th, meaning the next Dynamite would be February 16th, and I believe that would be the 90-day mark for one Keith Lee.
Ooh.
So that wouldn't shock me, but honestly, I think it's going to be Adam Cole. Like the way that they closed up the Cassidy match last night, that's kind of it. Like that's it. It was a lights out match. That's kind of like the end of the feud. So, and I think the right guy went over. I love Adam Cole. I'm an Adam Cole mark, but I think the right guy went over. But that being said, this frees up both of them, and I think of the two, Adam Cole is more likely to go and start a shit with Hangman Page. So I think it's going to be Adam Cole, because they do have some history. Adam Cole and Adam Page do. So that would be interesting. And we'll table the women's talk for another time because we have bigger fish to fry. At this point, I think it's time for some Mexican food.
Yeah, we need to order off of the gluten-free, carb calorie conscious menu here for the burrito time.
I was going to say,
so
you guys
can get into the very big meal of Royal Rumble picks.
I'm not saying the technical issues plagued this episode, but we're only at 38 minutes on this one, boys.
Yeah,
right,
but we're only at 9 o'clock though, so we've got
okay, yeah,
we've got picks.
I guess it did take that long, and we did start a little later. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this critique of AEW and critique of Mr. Danhausen. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's cool. This is the thing: is the episodes where we talk about AEW are always fun because we sit and talk about this stuff, and it's just always entertaining, and it's just wonderful. And like we can sit and speculate and go, "What are they gonna do?" Oh man, it's almost like wrestling's fun again, huh? Anyway, so make sure that you tune in to the second episode of the Pittsburgh Pile Driver podcast where we talk more Royal Rumble. Because even when a Royal Rumble is bad, it's still the Rumble. It's like pizza or sex. Even when it's bad, you still had pizza, or you still felt depressed and alone afterwards. Anyway, so what do you say we wrap this right? Am I wrong? Anyway, is that a little bit of an overshare? I don't know. Anyway, let's Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you very much to our wonderful sponsors, our very own Casual Gaming Dad himself, Mr. Tiger Bomb Tom, and his page Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook. Make sure you follow him, like, and subscribe all the different places. You can also check him out on YouTube. That's Casual Gaming Dad 84 on YouTube, and Casual Gaming Dad. Ooh, I went full ransom there. Check him out on Twitch as well. That's Casual Gaming Dad. Just search on that. Also, want to thank Gould Gaming, not only for having some of the best merchandise on the internet. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Go to gouldgaming.com and search on Casual Gaming Dad. You can find all kinds of kick-ass merch that Dad has, and you can find your very own Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast t-shirt. We also want to thank our very own Ransom as well, and his channel, Frig Off Ransom, one of the funniest guys I know, also one of the nicest and givingest guys I know. He's got a big old heart. No, not false. Pulling back the curtain on this one. You're a sweet boy. Anyway,
wrap it up.
We also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with IWC in Clearfield and the Pennsylvania area in general. For myself, the Barbarian, Poot the Bard, there you go. No gimmick infringement there. Mr. Ransom the Madman, Mr. Beef the Legend, and Tiger Bomb Tom. Have a good evening, day, night, whenever you listen to this. Goodbye.
That was not a low-calorie burrito.